Turn this TV off. Turn this.
Wow, that was a great performance by Kendrick Lamar. I'm sure the internet thinks so too. What? Okay, before everyone come at me for searching Super Bowl and boring together, here's a disclaimer. After the halftime show, I saw my friend's Discord and his Twitter, and they both said the halftime was boring. Okay, I didn't just look up tweets and make this video, okay? I saw it with my own eyes. Anyways, on with the video. I'm gonna be so honest, I'm not a Kendrick fan. The last song I heard from him was either Humble or something from the Black Panther album before listening to the holy trinity of disses. And like 1.3 million people, I tuned into the Super Bowl halftime just to see Kendrick jump on Drake's grave some more. And while we did not get as much as we wanted, there is something more I got out of the performance. The message is pretty clear. I think Kendrick Lamar has humongous balls for compiling this performance in front of Donald Trump, even though I feel like the message flew over his head since half of America didn't understand it and they voted for him. So I don't think Donald Trump knows what's going on. Unfortunately, people aren't interested in Kendrick Lamar's performance unless it's involving murdering Drake while he's already on the ground. So I'm going to take Drake into this video because beyond the obvious political message, I think it's important to note why Kendrick had problems with Drake and why he made his performance and his songs the way they are. Thanks to this video for detailing the entire history of the rap war, one thing that keeps coming back is that not only is Drake a PDF file enabler, allegedly, he's also a phony. He's from Toronto, but his music is heavily based on American hip-hop culture, and he did not understand it despite being the core of hip-hop music at the time. Most evidently, being the only one getting really butthurt over Kendrick name-dropping him to battle years ago. I too don't understand American hip-hop culture as much, but I have the benefit of not being in the space. I think more rappers were hurt for not being mentioned. And while his hip-hop image managed to bring him up to popularity, it can only take him so far. And that's why in the end he's relying on ghostwriters, allegedly. Not to mention suing the music distributor instead of writing an actual good song. It's like in school when one kid's been bullying someone and that someone fights back, but the bully starts crying to the teacher. It's very much the feeling of, why are you crying? You brought this to yourself. That's why people are on Kendrick's side instead of yours. While on the other hand, Kendrick very proudly declared that he's from Compton in the halftime, showing who he is from the get-go. Not only that, his songs are about his life, his philosophy, his understanding of the world, and his growth. And many of his songs, from what I understand, is dedicated to his inner self and the storytelling. His album Damn got a Pulitzer, and it's very telling of his position as a rapper, a musician, and an artist, and his understanding of music as a medium. His art is raw and vulnerable, and it touches people. As in, touches people's heart. Like a connection, not in like a Drake way, allegedly. And you can tell in the performance too, before you dissect it with the lens of the current political climate in USA. In the Man at the Garden segment, he had a group of people vibing behind him under a streetlight, and it's a very homey feeling, which paints to me that this performance is about connecting your roots and knowing where you come from. Many people already pointed out that the American flag during Humble are made up of all black dancers, which is a reminder that America is built off of slavery and black people, and despite how hard the government tries to make the country white, the truth is that the country is built on the back of POCs. And if we're still talking about Drake, it's a jab at him whose music feels, to me at least, very superficial and petty, and a reminder to the wider audience that art has to be authentic, and it has to come from yourself to produce something more profound in order to build a wider connection for people to listen to you for a long time. And though, I'm sure, Kendrick brought Serena Williams to turn his missiles at Drake's grave nuclear, I would like to think that it furthers the point when we're talking about authenticity. Her feature was to sea-walk during Not Like Us, which is an immediate connection to her sea-walking on Wimbledon after she won her match, and she got cancelled, I guess would be the word. I remember when that happened, I thought everyone was overreacting, and I was like 10. I had no critical thinking. I believed everything I saw, and I thought that was a weird reaction from the press. And with Williams coming in to perform with Kendrick, it's another connection to staying in touch with your roots, because Williams was slandered all the way for celebrating in a way her culture would, which show how black celebrities, used generically, are under more scrutiny for showing the world their identity. And to connect with the point before, America is too diverse for the government to suppress non-white cultures, and doing so is just ridiculous. Also, Serena Williams grew up in Compton for a bit as well, so that's probably why she was in the performance. which all in all, I think it's important to see that your culture is part of yourself, and regardless of the world's condemnation, there'll always be a community who will support and understand you and encourage you to keep your culture alive in you. The comments for this Super Bowl performance is kind of polarizing because either people are here to watch a circus show or they want a more overt message. And I think what we got is a pretty good balance of both. I mean, Kendrick Lamar is probably pretty over it at this point. He won 5 Grammys with Not Like Us. He proved his point. And he put out a message for the whole country without being too obvious that it would hurt his reputation, while being clear enough that there's more to just a theatrical show. And I think that's pretty impressive. What I got out of the halftime show and this rap beef is that he is staying true to his art and what he wants his art to represent, while being in front of a national stage with people who doesn't listen to his music or only know the really popular ones, instead of like Damn, where there is a storyline, or To Pimp a Butterfly, where it talks about racial inequality or institutional discrimination. And for him to satisfy the audience, the NFL, and everyone who paid him for this performance, while being able to showcase a story that is important to him, is very impressive, and unfortunately some people don't understand and saying is underwhelming, because if you really have been listening to Euphoria and Meet the Grams and Not Like Us, you can tell that he's got this much rage against Drake because Drake isn't true to himself and he's only here to appease the world, while Kendrick proved himself to the world. That's why he's so successful. That's why he has a Pulitzer. And also he got Samuel L. Jackson. Like, how can you call this show boring? There's always this understanding that you can't try too hard. You have to make everything effortless. You have to appeal to the world or else you can't succeed. And even when it's never outright said to me, ever, it is something I feel all throughout my life, kind of. And it's harder to create something that's me. Like, it truly feels like trying is cringe. But with last year, not only with Kendrick roasting Drake for being fake, there's also artists like Chaperone, Doechii, Sabrina Carpenter, hell, Mustard, who's all been trying for years and finally have their success coming to fruition. And one thing that all of them have in common is that they're staying true to themselves and their music and their process. And there's really no shortcut other than being true to your craft that is based on yourself and building it, proofing it constantly. And that's how you can make your art succeed. So that's the end of the video. I'm gonna listen to all of Kendrick's discography now, and I'm gonna attempt to drive engagement because I have not been posting for a while. So if you've actually watched this video all the way, comment down below with 20 words or less a summary of this video. Hopefully it doesn't get used for AI training, and I sure hope you won't use AI for this. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.